All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about something a lot of couples go through, but almost nobody talks about out loud. How do you keep that spark alive when you've been married for a long, long time?
Does this sound familiar? You're maybe a decade into your marriage, and you started to notice things aren't quite the same. The bedroom just doesn't have that fire it used to. If you're not in your head right now, trust me, you are not the only one.
In fact, get this. Our source material says that a whopping 90% of men find themselves stuck in a routine after about 10 years. It's so easy to start seeing your partner as, just part of the daily grind, and you forget that you both still want that connection and that pleasure. So the big takeaway here? What you're feeling is totally normal.
I mean, think about it. 10 years is a long time. Our bodies change, hormones go on a bit of a roller coaster, and let's be real, things can get boring. You get stuck doing the same old things, hoping for the same results. But what if the playbook you've been using all this time is just, outdated?
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Our source uses this great metaphor. A woman's body is like a lock. It doesn't just need the right key, it needs the right motion to actually open. It's not about force, it's about knowing what you're doing. It's all about technique.
So let's talk about that key. For a lot of people, it's kind of like a secret, a magic button that can literally change everything. Yep, we're talking about the G-spot. And honestly, understanding this one thing is often the missing piece of the whole puzzle.
So what is it really? Well, it's this super sensitive area, packed with nerve endings. You'll find it about 2 to 3 inches inside on the front wall. That's the upper wall, towards your stomach. If that spot isn't getting the right kind of attention, you could be missing out on a huge part of your partner's pleasure.
So how do you find it? It's actually a lot simpler than you might think. Just have your partner lie down and get comfortable. Then, using your fingers, make a little come here gesture, curling them up towards that front wall. You're trying to feel for an area that's a little different, maybe a bit bumpy or raised. That's it. That's the spot.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the where. Now for the really important part, the how. This is where so many of us get it wrong, probably because we've learned everything from watching movies. But that fast, jackhammering motion you see on screen, that's almost never the way to go.
Here's the deal. After a decade, a woman's body changes. Natural lubrication might not be what it used to be. And when that happens, fast and hard thrusts don't feel good. They create painful friction. That's pretty much the opposite of what you're trying to achieve, right? And this just lays it out perfectly. The wrong way is fast, random, just in and out. It can cause pain. But the right way, it's all about rhythm and, most importantly, angles. Instead of just going straight in and out, think more of a circular kind of grinding motion. You want to aim your thrust slightly upward, so you're actually making contact with the G-spot. The whole game shifts from depth to friction.
But look, technique is only half the story. We've got to remember that intimacy isn't just physical. After being together for 10 years, the whole foundation of desire changes. That initial chemistry is still there, but now the emotional and mental connection becomes just as important, maybe even more important.
This quote from our source just says it all, doesn't it? Her satisfaction is tied directly to how she's feeling mentally. I mean, think about it. If she's stressed out, or feels disconnected from you, or if you feel more like roommates than partners, those are the biggest roadblocks you can have.
So how do you fix that? Well, it starts way before you even get near the bedroom. It's about remembering to be partners again, not just co-parents or people who split the bills. Talk about things other than logistics. Give her a real compliment. When her mind feels happy, calm, and appreciated, her body is going to be so much more responsive.
Okay, so let's wrap this all up with a few more quick practical tips. These are the kinds of small changes that can seriously make a huge impact.
First up, you have got to break the monotony. If you're stuck in the same old routine, you're missing out. Trying new positions like woman on top or doggy style can be game changers because they're often the best for hitting the G-spot. And here's a little pro tip. With doggy style, try thrusting slightly diagonally instead of straight in. You'll get much better contact.
Next, you've got to master your pace. Always start slow. Think of it like a slow burn. Spend a good 5 or 10 minutes on foreplay. Then, you can gradually speed things up as she gets more turned on. You can also try the stop and start method to last longer. It's a win-win.
And check this out. Here's a super simple hack. It's called the pillow tip. Just place a pillow under your partner's hips. That tiny change completely alters the angle of entry. It creates a brand new feeling and usually makes it way easier to stimulate the G-spot. So easy, but such a big payoff.
And hey, let's just say it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with using lubricant. We already talked about how bodies change. A good water-based lube just makes sure that friction feels amazing, not painful. It's all about adapting and making sure pleasure is the #1 priority.
But really, when you boil it all down, everything we've talked about comes back to one crucial thing: communication. It is not embarrassing to ask questions. What feels good? Is this speed okay? Am I hitting the right spot? Asking shows you care. It takes all the stressful guesswork out of it, and it helps you connect on a whole new level.
So if you only take 2 things away from all this, let it be these 2. Reigniting that romance really comes down to anatomy and approach. 1, understand the G-spot, and 2, change your angle. Those 2 things can make a 10-year marriage feel brand new again.
And that's our explainer. But it does make you wonder, right? What about a deeper dive on the specific positions that really work for couples over 40? Let us know if that's something you'd be curious about. Thanks for tuning in.